Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Marvelous Musings. This time, we have found ourselves without any guest speakers, so we're going to be talking to you about Young Avengers. This is something that not many people have heard about, so we want to talk about it, just us three. And let's get the ball rolling.
By the way, I'm Agraj.
I'm Niranjan. Very professional today.
I'm Addy.
So today we'll be talking about the Young Avengers, as Addy said, how we might see them in the MCU, how we might have already seen them in the MCU, how they might come to join as a group, who they might fight, if they fight. I'm very intrigued as to what the Young Avengers means for the MCU. Let's just start off with who we know already exists. Let's start off with WandaVision. Our boys, Speed and Wiccan.
The Billy and Tommy.
Billy and Tommy Maximoff.
Noting that they do not, in fact, actually exist in this universe, sad as this may be.
That's true. They technically do not exist. But the fact that they tease them is more than enough to sort of say that they probably will come. And Wanda was doing some stuff at the end of WandaVision, if we remember correctly. She found herself in a cabin alone. I think we could see more with Wanda and possibly her bringing Vision and her family back. That'd be cool.
So for those of you who have seen WandaVision, and I think I should say this, spoiler alert, Wanda goes into a false reality and invents two kids for herself that grow in age at a supernatural rate. Now, because those kids never actually existed within our reality, those kids are now vanished. But with the multiverse now in question, we can actually say that, these kids might actually exist.
We'll see Kate Bishop in the upcoming show Hawkeye, which is it later in October, was it?
I believe it is October, and that's
actually... I'm personally very fond of Kate Bishop.
I will ignore my co-host's strange behavior.
Niranjan has a little bit of a crush on Haley Steinfeld, it seems.
No, I don't. No, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Shut up.
All right, I'm going to pretend as though my co-host does not exist because he's an extremely disturbing individual at this moment. However, Hawkeye is actually something that I think we're all looking forward to seeing. I think the man deserves a show, and we're all looking forward to what the next Hawkeye will be. But we're also going to be looking at some ones that we've heard a bit less of.
Can we just say that what Kate Bishop might mean for Hawkeye as a character? Like, Kate Bishop becoming Hawkeye in the MCU could mean that the Hawkeye we know, played by Jeremy Renner, could be dying during a show. It is a limited series.
That is very possible. Right.
Moving on, we've also seen hints that Cassie Lang might also be involved. Cassie Lang, for those of you who know, is Ant-Man's daughter and his very lovable daughter. She's grown up a bit, especially since we had the whole blip, as we all know, spoiler alert. We're also looking at some other characters coming in, including ones that have no actual prerequisite in the MCU, including Miss Marvel, Miss America, which is going to be seen through America Chavez, and which is something that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Miss America because we have seen a leaked, what looks like an audition video for someone auditioning for the role of Miss America. That's something that's just the little clip of it seemed extremely exciting. So I really want to just say that this is something I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, there's a lot of characters coming up. Agraj, do you think there's any that in my small mind I've missed?
I would like to address the thing. There was also not only America Chavez, there was also a leaked audition for and a teenage version of
Tommy.
Yeah. Tommy Maximoff. And also in the scene that the actor, I forgot the actor's name, I seen the actor was playing for, his lines that he was saying for the audition, he was replying to what Billy's character was saying, and it did sound like that Tommy was characterized as a criminal and was in jail at the moment of the audition's lines. So yeah, there's that.
That would be an interesting story arc to see, actually. The one of the characters you forgot was Riri Williams, Ironheart. That, and I think in terms of the Kid Loki. Kid Loki is at least in the comics, but I'm not sure if we'll see Kid Loki appear again. I think that might have just been more of a sort of like, haha, you see Kid Loki's in this universe too, funny jokes, comedy.
Yeah.
And we'll probably never hear
that's
from
what
again.
I thought as well.
Out here. First of all, is Kid Loki. Now, Kid Loki, I think he stems from the time. If we go back to Thor Ragnarok, remember when Loki transforms himself into a snake, he's telling a childhood story. He's transformed himself into a snake, and because Thor loves snakes, Thor picks it up, and then the snake transforms into Loki, and Loki stabs him. Now, I'm not saying that this is based off the same incident, but it really seems to me as though it is the same Loki. If we end up seeing Kid Loki, which I think we might, especially seeing how Marvel seems to be taking Loki in this different direction with the multiverse. I think if we see Kid Loki and he's the Loki that killed Thor, I think that's the Loki that we see. Now, the second main point I also want to point out here is Ironheart has been controversial with the comics. Some say that she is not needed. Some say she's not necessary. But I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that for the MCU, or at this point, the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, we can't really say whether a character is needed, not needed, until we actually see them. And until we actually get a good grasp of all these things. Because we need to remember one thing here. A lot of the Avengers characters, they weren't really actually Marvel's prime properties until we saw the Avengers movies. Now they're the biggest stars in the world. So we need to remember this for things that might not be too popular right now, such as Ironheart and some other characters as well.
Yeah, that's completely valid. And you know what I'm yeah,
Riri Williams is confirmed for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, by the way, in case anybody was wondering. So you can't release it, do anything now. You can't complain or anything. She's confirmed.
Yeah. And see what I'm intrigued as to finding out, or at least trying to wrap my head around, I guess, is how the Young Avengers might come to be. Because obviously there are all these nods to them and there's all these characters that we definitely could see in the Young Avengers, but how could they actually come together as a group? I mean, they all seem to be sort of on their own adventures. At least that's what it seemed like for the original Avengers too, and they brought them all together. But we saw that from the beginning that they were bringing them together. Obviously, from Iron Man 1, we see Nick Fury come in. That same thing obviously hasn't happened yet, where we see them all linking together, coming together. So, any ideas for how that could be?
I'm gonna take a stab at this. I'm gonna guess that for all these characters, so far we haven't actually seen any Young Avengers so far. All we've actually seen is one or two scenes with Kid Loki that may or may not even be significant in the long term of the MCU. And we've seen Wanda's kids that we don't even know exist in this universe. But I'm going to actually assume here that Wanda's children might actually play a significant role in the next movie that she stars in, because I believe she's meant to play one of the primary villains in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And if that is true, I don't think we as the audience will ever truly be able to accept Wanda as a villain if she doesn't really have a proper motive. Like, let's just look at the best villains from the MCU. We had Zemo. I know he was controversial, but to me, he had some of the best backstory in the MCU. Yeah. We had Killmonger, again, very controversial and very, I mean, I personally disagreed with.
I just love me some Michael B. Jordan any day.
Same.
Any day.
At the end of the day, Marvel seems really good at making compelling villains that have these compelling backstories. And I think Wanda, at this point, we can't keep continuing her story as a primary villain without having some kind of motivation beyond grief. And I think the primary motivation that we could see in Multiverse of Madness is her desire to protect her children, because we know how much she loves them. And if we can see it set up like that, I think that would be really great.
So I have just one thing to disagree with you on, and that's that Marvel is really good at building compelling villains. They have some good compelling villains. You're right with Killmonger and Zemo. I think those two are actually pretty good villains. And then there's villains like Whiplash and Iron Man 3's Mandarin, who I just didn't find myself really feeling bad for.
I'm going to objection, Your Honor. But honestly, the Mandarin in this day and age, if we think about the Mandarin, I know we're getting kind of off topic here, but I think this is important. In this day and age, like, that's what terrorism looks like. It's not one man sitting behind a smoke screen saying, "Look at me, I'm evil." It's generally a whole bunch of different powers that be coming together and putting together a front. That's what terrorism in the modern world.
I'm not saying the Mandarin's a bad villain. I'm just saying that he's not a compelling villain.
That's
and he doesn't have a great backstory. Anyways, yeah. But to stay on topic here, the Young Avengers. So what I think is that for the Young Avengers to truly come together, some of them are probably going to have to face some sort of hardship. I definitely see, that's why I think Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye is probably going to die, because I think it would make complete sense for Kate Bishop to try to honor him through joining a team to fight against evil,
Very
just
much
like
so.
he did. I don't want Wanda to die. So and we really don't know what the plan is for Wanda after uh Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's not like she has a confirmed movie or anything. WandaVision season 2, I don't think is confirmed, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. So at this point, it doesn't seem like Wanda necessarily has a road after Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So it's completely possible that Wanda could actually die in that one. And we see maybe her children in that one finding themselves needing to continue to honor her, just like Kate Bishop might need to honor Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree, actually, Audrey, with your with the theory that you put out there that Wanda might die. I don't think we've seen the last of Wanda yet, because let's look at it where we've actually seen her, and it's been from Avengers: Age of Ultron, Avengers: Infinity War, and she had a very small role, a significant, but in terms of screen time, very small role in Endgame. She had a significant role in Captain America: Civil War, and she's had her own miniseries. At the end of the day, a character as powerful as Wanda, I don't see her just getting wiped out immediately, especially when there's so much more that Marvel has to build up with in the realm of magic. And so far, the most important magical characters they have are Doctor Strange and Wanda. So I don't see Wanda actually leaving the MCU just yet.
That's
Yeah,
true. That's good.
I agree with this. Right, she recently got her new chaos magic abilities, right? So
That's true,
I
yeah.
really don't see them
I think
killing
she-
her
yeah.
off right afterwards, right? And like after WandaVision, the next time we're gonna see her is in Multiverse of Madness, most likely. So I mean, we might see her in Spider-Man: No Way Home, but it's very unlikely. But Multiverse
Highly
of Madness
unlikely,
is the
yeah.
next confirmed thing we might see her in, and I don't think they're gonna immediately kill her off right after she got her chaos magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because we know at this point how Marvel does things. They're not like the DCEU. They don't rush things. Delete that part. No. But yeah, the thing is, the Marvel is pretty good at having a plan. Apparently, the plan from 2008 up until Avengers: Infinity War was already planned out before they even made the first Iron Man movie. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, then it's a really good sign that Marvel knows how to do long-term planning with their characters. And
Yeah.
if we're going to assume that Marvel is going to use those same long-term planning abilities with Wanda, then I don't think it's wrong to assume that her storyline doesn't have an end or doesn't have somewhere to end. I just don't see that as being Wanda. Sorry, Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. My brain is failing me. So
yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah, that's
Okay.
quite compelling. I do think, at least now, I do think that Wanda probably has more time. But that still, begs the question: how will or how would we see Tommy and Billy join the group of the Young Avengers?
Start off with they need to exist in a plane where they can interact with the other Avengers. That's going to be a big challenge in itself.
Who else do we have? Well, I think the one that really I think the most compelling ones are definitely Kate Bishop and the twins.
Right.
I'm not so sure about Cassie Lang. I felt like she might have just been there for Marvel to show that it's been 5 years since Scott has technically seen his daughter. And that's why she's so old now. It's a more shock factor than anything. I don't think she's going to be that important.
I want to actually say a few things here. First of all, I feel like we should stray away from making predictions about certain Avengers kids just because they're their kids. So I've noticed in this video we haven't actually talked about Morgan Stark, and I'm glad to see that because I don't think it's inherent that, just because you're someone's kid, you're going to be that character. Likewise with Cassie Lang, I think it's a possibility, but not that much.
Yeah, and Kate Bishop is a perfect example of that, right? Because
One person here
Yeah.
that we are forgetting is Elijah Bradley. I think
yes,
in terms
True.
of compelling, his is incredibly compelling. It's
Yeah.
this incredible story of patriotism, of the idea of national sovereignty and what it means to treat your citizens like they're actually citizens. And it's all of that wrapped up into a story that's so relevant in modern times. And I really want to see what Marvel does with the Elijah Bradley story because, yeah, he might not be the most powerful of the Young Avengers. He's definitely one of the most interesting by far.
Not to sort of
disagree.
No. I just want to revisit what Addie said about not predicting Avengers kids as becoming Young Avengers themselves. I think it's The only reason I mention Cassie Lang is because in the comics she is Stature. That's why I feel like it could be possible that we see her, just because we did see her grown up in the movie. So it would be the perfect excuse to bring her character into the MCU. We could even see her in Ant-Man Quantumania when that comes up. When is that, 2023 or something? Far from now. But I do think it's fairly possible, at least for her. I'm sure. I don't see Morgan Stark coming into this.
I don't either.
Yeah, for one thing, she's
5.
She's 5. So I think maybe in the MCU in like 2080, then maybe we'll see her. But till then, maybe not.
You say 2080?
Yeah.
For viewers, I would just like to point out that Naranjan has cut out a section where he mispronounced Miles Morales' name 5 times. Naranjan has cut that out. That's his right as editor.
Okay, so another one that's interesting is Miles Morales.
Who many people will know as the other Spider-Man.
The better Spider-Man compared to Tom Holland.
I think he's definitely, I wouldn't say better. I would say he's definitely a more powerful Spider-Man. I think he's possibly a cooler Spider-Man in the sense that he has more powers. Bioelectricity and cloaking is really cool. I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. I think the whole thing with the Prowler and Homecoming was more just sort of like, a little nod to Miles Morales, but it's not like serious, But I'm a huge fan of the Miles Morales PS4 game and of the Spider-Man PS4 game. So I would love to see Miles Morales in the MCU, considering we got Spider-Verse, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, especially since Peter right now is like, what, 15, 16 right now?
He has some time. He has some time.
He has some time, yeah. Or if you want to kill him off, which is personally my choice.
Stop.
If we want to kill off Tom Holland Spider-Man and bring Miles Morales, I'm here for it.
All right.
I'd like to note here at this point that Tom Holland is a real person. Miles Morales is a cartoon character. It's going to be harder to bring that person on screen.
Dude, he exists in the MCU. They mentioned him.
It's true. He does. When did they mention him?
Prowler and Homecoming.
Yeah, it was a nod. Yeah, it was a nod to Miles Morales. But I mean, he is in the MCU, but I don't know if we'll see him anytime soon. I think it was just a little Easter egg. Anyways, before we go on and on about murdering,
you're breaking my heart, man. What are you doing?
That's our job. Break your heart.
Yeah. Before we go on and plan the homicide of more Spider-Men, I think we should probably wrap this up. Yeah, but thank you everyone for listening in on our episode about the Young Avengers and who they might be, what we might see about them. Thank you everyone for watching. For Marvelous Musings, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.